This is Kevin Mock. This is Class 8 Junior Market Wethers. We placed this class 3-1-2-4. Thought it was a pretty straightforward class. We used the number 3 Wether to lead the class. Thought that was the stoutest, best constructed one. Had the best skeleton laid into him, had the best body cavity laid into him, and we thought he was the most genuine in his muscle shape. He was easily the biggest pinned one, and had the best rear leg and front leg and knee structure. When you set those things in motion, he was kind of a knucklehead on the chain. For those of you kids that might have watched that, didn't really want to walk quite as well, but thought still from a livestock quality standpoint, proportions and balance, he sorted pretty easily to the top. Second, we're going to be with the number 1 goat, and that is definitely the carcass-oriented, trimmest Wether in the class. He's very trim about his front part of his body, his forerib. He's probably the biggest loin one, and perhaps more carcass-driven than the one that we choose to lead the class with. Our problem with that one was, from a general livestock quality standpoint, he was a little lower in his tail set, he was a little narrower in his pin set, he was a little flatter in his rib shape, and we set those things in motion. He didn't want to flex and go quite as well off his rear leg, and then rear leg circumference wasn't quite as good either. Granted, the Wether that we start with, the 3 Wether, had big fuzz, big leg hair, and the number 1 Wether that we go second with was almost void of leg hair, but still thought past that. Foot circumference and the way he used his hind leg didn't get him above the number 3 Wether. So again, on the top pair, we're 3 and 1 with a pretty close cut. So if you swap those on carcass quality, I don't think it's going to kill you. We go 2 next, so 3-1-2-4. 2 was maybe the trendiest one in the class in terms of being big and shallow, big leg hair, but unfortunately when we got into that one, there just wasn't as much there. He was easily the flattest, easily the least descript on his top, easily the roundest loin one in the class, and had the least amount of genuine width and skeleton when he got into him. He did have a big rear leg and lots of trendy hair and a neat neck and a shallow in his rib cage, but just from a substance and muscularity standpoint, we found him 3 in the class. And then we wound the class out with 4, really a big top goat, and from a carcass standpoint, you know, he's not terrible. Thought this was a very high quality class all the way throughout, but the 4 Wether was easily the fattest, the heaviest in his condition. He was the deepest bodied, he was the steepest in his hip structure, he was the most compact in the front third of his body, and when you set those in motion, he had the worst rear leg, and just from a general livestock quality standpoint, we had to run him last. So again, Class 8 Junior Market Wethers, place this class 3-1-2-4. Biggest cut's going to be in your middle pair.